Before the Olympians ruled Greece, the world belonged to the Titans. Among them was Kronos, king of the Titans. Kronos eventually learned of a prophecy. One day, one of his own children would overthrow him. So Kronos came up with a solution. Every time his wife Rhea gave birth, he swallowed the child. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. All of them disappeared inside their father. Then Rhea gave birth to another son, Zeus. This time, she refused to lose him. Rhea secretly replaced the infant with a stone wrapped in cloth. Kronos swallowed it without realizing the truth, while Zeus was carried away and hidden. The Titan Gaia helped raise him. And as Zeus grew older, so did his hatred for his father. Eventually, Zeus returned and freed his brothers and sisters from Kronos, and the children of the Titans became a new generation of gods, the Olympians. But Kronos had been correct about one thing. His son had come to overthrow him. The Olympians and Titans went to war. Zeus led the gods. The Titan Atlas became one of the strongest warriors fighting against them. The conflict became known as the Great War. It devastated the Greek world. Eventually, Zeus created a weapon powerful enough to end it, the Blade of Olympus. Using the blade, Zeus defeated the Titans and banished most of them to Tartarus, the deepest, most horrific abyss of the underworld. The Olympians claimed Mount Olympus, with Zeus becoming the king of the gods. But the war had created something else. Its hatred, fear, greed, and suffering had taken physical form. These forces became known collectively as the Evils. Zeus ordered his son, the blacksmith god Hephaestus, to imprison them. Hephaestus created an artifact capable of containing them, known as Pandora's box. But Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, daughter of Zeus, feared the box might someday be opened. So she secretly placed another power inside, something capable of opposing the evils. Hope. The box was hidden away. The Titans were imprisoned. And for a time, Olympus believed the threat was over. Then another prophecy was delivered to Zeus by an oracle. The destruction of Olympus would not come from the Titans. It would come from a mortal, a warrior carrying a distinctive mark. The gods called him the Marked Warrior. Zeus had already watched one prophecy destroy its father. He was not going to ignore another. Many years later, a mortal woman named Callisto gave birth to a boy. His name was Kratos. What Kratos did not know was that his father was Zeus. Kratos grew up in Sparta alongside his younger brother, Deimos. The two were almost inseparable, and like every Spartan boy, they were raised to become soldiers. Sparta did not believe childhood should be comfortable. Boys entered a brutal military education known as the agoge. They were taught discipline, endurance, and combat. And above everything,
for Sparta!
When Kratos was around 13, one of their fellow cadets disappeared. His name was Vasilis. The Spartan authorities showed little urgency in finding him. To Kratos, if Vasilis could not survive, perhaps he simply was not strong enough. Deimos disagreed. A Spartan was still their brother, and Sparta had taught them that no brother should be abandoned. Eventually, Deimos convinced Kratos to help search for him. The two travelled across Laconia. The longer they searched, the more Kratos realised something uncomfortable. Vasilis had spent much of his life trying to prove that he was useful, and Kratos himself had helped make him feel useless. Eventually, they found him, but they were too late. Vasilis had been killed by a creature roaming the region. Even then, they discovered that before his death, Vasilis had managed to wound the monster. The boy everyone considered weak had still fought like a Spartan. Kratos and Deimos defeated the creature and returned their friend to Sparta. Kratos accepted responsibility for disobeying his instructors. His punishment cost him the chance to enter the elite Vanguard Circle that year. But something had changed. For the first time, Kratos understood that duty was not just about simply following orders. Sometimes duty meant protecting the person beside you. And no person meant more to Kratos than his younger brother Deimos. But their time together was about to end. Two gods were sent to Sparta, Athena, and the original god of war, Ares. They found Kratos and Deimos training together. When Ares saw the markings covering Deimos, he believed the search was over. Ares seized him. Kratos immediately attacked. Ares struck him aside, leaving a permanent scar across his face. Ares prepared to finish Kratos as well, but Athena stopped him. They had only come for the Marked Warrior. Ares disappeared with Deimos, and Kratos could do nothing but watch. Deimos was taken to a realm controlled by the god of death, Thanatos. There he remained imprisoned for years, waiting for a brother who never came. Kratos believed Deimos was gone and blamed himself for being too weak to save him. But he made a promise. He would never be weak again. Kratos eventually tattooed his body with a red pattern resembling Deimos' birthmark, a permanent tribute to the brother he had lost. The gods believed they had prevented the prophecy. In reality, the marked warrior had never been Deimos. It was Kratos. Kratos joined the Spartan army. He became everything Sparta wanted him to become: disciplined, fearless, relentless. He also reunited with a woman he had known when he was younger, Lysandra. They eventually married and had a daughter, Calliope. For all of Kratos' aggression on the battlefield, his wife and daughter were different. They were the two people capable of reminding him that he was something other than a soldier. Calliope even carried a small flute given to her by her father, but shortly after her birth she became seriously ill. Spartan law was unforgiving toward children, believed incapable of surviving. Kratos refused to accept that fate. There was said to be a substance capable of curing almost any illness: the ambrosia of Asclepius, a magical elixir created by the Greek god of medicine. Kratos set out to find it. What he did not know was that his daughter's illness had not happened naturally. The gods were playing a game. Ares and Hades had created a wager. Each selected a mortal champion. Each champion would search for the ambrosia, and whichever champion reached it first would bring victory to their god. To ensure Kratos had sufficient motivation, Ares allowed Calliope to become the reason Kratos desperately needed the ambrosia. Hades selected a barbarian prince named Alric. Alric's own father had also been struck by illness. Eventually they crossed paths. Kratos defeated him and escaped with the ambrosia. Kratos immediately returned to Sparta and cured Calliope. The barbarian prince was left dead on the battlefield. But Alric was Hades' chosen champion, and Hades was not willing to accept defeat so easily. The god of the underworld brought Alric back to life and ordered him to take revenge on the Spartan who had cost him the wager. Alric returned home, and his father was already dead. Alric remembered exactly who had taken the ambrosia from him: Kratos. The two men would meet again, and their next meeting would change the world. Captain, General, Conqueror. Victory followed him everywhere, but so did ambition. Lysandra began noticing the change. Kratos claimed that he fought for the glory and future of Sparta, but she understood that Kratos wanted to become a legend. Until eventually, they met the barbarian army. Leading them was the same man Kratos had defeated years earlier, Ulrich, now known as the Barbarian King. The battle became a disaster. Spartan soldiers fell around Kratos as his army was collapsing. Ulrich stood ready to defeat him. For the first time in years, Kratos was powerless. So he looked toward the heavens and offered his life to the one god he believed could save him.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours!
Ares destroyed Kratos' enemies and gave him the Blades of Chaos. Blades permanently connected to their wielder through magical chains. But they were not a gift, they were a symbol of ownership. Kratos had made a blood oath, which means his life now belonged to Ares. Kratos defeated Alric and became the perfect servant for the god of war. Village after village fell. The more Kratos obeyed Ares, the less humanity remained inside him. That was exactly what Ares wanted. He wanted a warrior powerful enough to help him challenge Olympus. Before Kratos, Ares had even attempted to create one. He fathered a son with Alecto, queen of the Furies. The child's name was Orcos. Ares hoped Orcos would become the perfect warrior. Instead, Ares considered him a failure. Then he found Kratos, a mortal willing to sacrifice everything for victory. But there was only one problem. Kratos still had one thing connecting him to his humanity. During one of Kratos' conquests, Ares secretly arranged for his family to be placed inside a temple in the path of Kratos' attack. Kratos entered without knowing they were there. When the battle ended, he realized what Ares had made him do. His wife and daughter were gone, slain by his own hands.
My wife, my child, how? They were left in Sparta.
You are becoming all I'd hoped you'd be, Kratos. Now, with your wife and child dead, nothing will hold you back. You'll become even stronger. You will become death itself.
A village oracle placed a curse upon Kratos. The ashes of his family became permanently attached to his skin. From that day forward, Kratos became known as the Ghost of Sparta, and the first thing he did was renounce Ares. Walking away from a god was not simple. Kratos had made a blood oath. and breaking sacred oaths attracted the attention of creatures even older than the Olympians, the Furies. Alecto, Megaera, and Tisiphone. They existed to punish betrayal. The Furies captured Kratos and attacked his mind with illusions, trying to convince him that his family was still alive, that his life could return to normal, that everything would be forgiven if he simply served Ares again. But Kratos refused. Then he met someone unexpected, Orcos, the rejected son of Ares and Alecto. Orcos had been made the keeper of oaths, but after seeing what Ares and the Furies had done to Kratos, Orcos turned against his own family. But he could not free Kratos by himself, so he directed Kratos toward a woman who might know how, Aletheia, the Oracle of Delphi. Aletheia had discovered the truth behind Ares and the Furies. Ares was not simply trying to create another powerful warrior. He wanted a champion strong enough to help him overthrow Zeus and take control of Olympus. And Kratos had been intended as a weapon against Olympus. The Furies repeatedly tried to stop him. They trapped him inside illusions and attempted to break his understanding of what was real. Kratos fought his way through every deception. Eventually he confronted the Furies themselves. Megaera fell, Tisiphone fell, and finally Alecto. Kratos had defeated the creatures responsible for enforcing his oath. He believed he was free. Then Orcos appeared one final time. Before their defeat, the Furies had made Orcos the living keeper of Kratos' oath. As long as Orcos remained, Kratos would remain connected to Ares. There was only one way to sever it completely. Orcos accepted what had to happen. Kratos reluctantly ended the life of the one person who had helped free him. The oath disappeared and Ares no longer owned Kratos. But without the magic suppressing his memories, Kratos began experiencing the death of his family every time he slept. He had escaped Ares, but he had not escaped himself. So Kratos turned toward the only beings he believed might be powerful enough to erase his memories. For the next 10 years, the ghost of Sparta shall serve the gods of Olympus. Kratos completed task after task for Olympus. Monsters, armies, creatures threatening Greece. If the gods demanded something destroyed, Kratos destroyed it. And every time he waited for the same reward, freedom from his nightmares. But it never came. During these years, a Persian army attacked the Greek city of Attica. Kratos was sent to stop them. He defeated their king and destroyed a massive basilisk attacking the city. Then something impossible happened. The sun fell from the sky and darkness spread across Greece. The sun god Helios had disappeared. Without him, the god of dreams, Morpheus, spread a supernatural sleep across the world. Even the Olympians began falling unconscious. Athena sent Kratos to investigate. The trail led towards the underworld. There, Kratos discovered that the Titan Atlas had escaped his imprisonment. Someone had freed him. Someone had also captured Helios. Kratos crossed the river Styx and defeated its ferryman Charon. Kratos continued deeper into the realm of the dead. Then he heard something. One he recognized immediately. The queen of the underworld, Persephone, suddenly appeared. She offered Kratos a choice: give up his weapons and the powers Olympus had given him, become mortal again and remain with Calliope forever. Kratos accepted. For one brief moment, the ghost of Sparta disappeared. There was only a father holding his daughter again. Then Kratos learned the truth. Persephone hated Olympus for forcing her into a marriage she never wanted with Hades. She intended to destroy the gods by destroying the pillar supporting the Greek world itself. If the pillar fell, Olympus would die. Humanity would die. The underworld would die, and so would Calliope. Kratos was forced to make an impossible decision: stay with his daughter and allow the world to disappear, or abandon her again so she could continue existing without him. Kratos chose to leave Calliope.
Father, please! Please! Father! Father, no!
As he regained his powers and stopped Persephone, prevented Atlas from destroying the world. Atlas was left beneath the earth, forced to carry its weight upon his shoulders. Helios returned to the sky as the gods awakened. The world was saved. But Kratos had sacrificed the one thing he wanted more than anything else: his daughter. After that, serving Olympus became even harder. But Kratos pushed through year after year, until 10 years had passed. Kratos had completed another mission for Poseidon when he finally demanded an answer from Athena.
10 years, Athena. I have faithfully served the gods for 10 years. When will you relieve me of these nightmares?
Athena offered him one final task. Ares had turned against Athens. Olympian law prevented Athena from simply fighting Ares herself. But Kratos was mortal, and Athena knew exactly how much he hated his former master. If Kratos killed Ares, the gods would forgive everything he had done. Kratos travelled to Athens. The city was already collapsing. Ares towered over the battlefield, while his armies destroyed everything around him. Kratos eventually reached the Oracle of Athens. She told him there was only one weapon capable of giving a mortal enough power to challenge a god: Pandora's box, the same box created after the Great War. Zeus had hidden it inside an enormous temple chained to the back of the Titan Kronos. Kronos had spent years wandering through the endless desert, carrying the structure as punishment. Kratos climbed onto the Titan, entered Pandora's temple, and began searching for the box. He survived the temple's trials and found Pandora's box. Ares realized what was happening, and before Kratos could return to Athens, Ares struck him down from across Greece. Pandora's box was taken back to Athens as Kratos descended into the underworld, but death had never been particularly good at holding him. A mysterious gravedigger had been helping Kratos throughout his journey. The man was far more than he appeared. With his assistance, Kratos escaped the underworld and returned to Athens. He reclaimed Pandora's box and opened it. Power entered his body, and Kratos became strong enough to stand against Ares. Kratos defeated the god of war. Kratos believed the power inside Pandora's box had simply allowed him to defeat a god. He would not learn the truth until years later. Athena appeared. She kept Olympus's promise. Kratos' sins were forgiven, but they could not make Kratos forget his nightmares. Kratos collapsed into despair, but Athena intervened. Ares was dead, and the throne of the god of war was now empty. Athena brought Kratos to Mount Olympus. The mortal who had spent 10 years serving the gods now sat among them. Kratos became the new god of war,